Alright, hello you guys, Miss Steele here. I'm down here. This thing right here is recording what I'm doing with my hands. So we've been talking about texture this week, and I thought it'd be fun if we made a project that has some actual texture. My example's on the table next to me. I'm gonna go grab it. I will be back. Alright, I am back. And for this, I thought it'd be fun. I'm going to hold it up at the bottom so you guys can see. If we made our own, textured plants, leaves, I was inspired by a monstera. It's just a type of leafy plant. I have one at home. So that is what we're going to make today. We're going to make it its own little vase that it can sit in. Here it is at the bottom. So what we are going to need to make this, I'm going to set that aside, let it fall over. We're going to need some paper. I have a yellow paper for my vase. And then I kind of thought this was a light green, but now seeing it next to the yellow, I think it's yellow. And then I have this green paper. I'm going to go grab a different green and I will be right back. It looks a little blue because of this camera, but maybe if I hold it up at the bottom, you guys can see that it looks more green. Even though it looks kind of blue on camera, I promise that it's green. So we have our three papers. If you don't have colored paper, you can always use white paper and just color it to be different shades of green. I just think it's easier to start out with the colored paper, but if you have white paper, just color it green for your leaves, or you can color your leaves green. So I have the two different greens because I want one to be a big leaf and then one to have two small leaves. So we have our paper. You're going to need pencil, eraser, that's pretty normal whenever we're making art, scissors and glue, and then I have some markers because I want to add some details. So we have our paper, 3 pieces, some scissors, glue, pencil, eraser, and then I have some markers to add some details, but you guys can use what you have. So our first step is going to be making our vase for our leaves, or I guess more of a vase, it's almost like a pot. So for this, we're going to roll it and glue it together, but I kind of want the top to have some texture. So I think what I'm going to do at the top, you could do a wavy line, or you could do a zigzag line. I think I'm going to do a bumpy line. So I'm going to add in bumps all along the top like that. So I'm going to cut out this bumpy line, and then we're going to get this put together. You can leave your top straight if you want to. I just think they look more fun if they have some texture to it. On this one, I did kind of like a wavy line, as you guys can see. And obviously, for this one that I'm doing right now, I'm going to do a bumpy line. So now we have this. We have our bumps. I think I might actually make this side a little bit lower just so they match up better. There we go. So I'm going to flip it over, and I want to write my name. If you guys want to decorate this, I would decorate this before you put your leaves on. So I'm going to use my markers, and I'm going to add just some designs to this. Just have more to look at whenever I'm looking at it. So I'm going to get this all decorated, and then I will be back. Okay, so I decorated it. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to add, not too much, but just a thin line of glue. And then I'm going to bend this over onto the glue and hold it there. Because I hit this a little bit. So you can see I've bent this over, and what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to stick my hand inside here, and I'm just going to hold it for about 20-30 seconds. Glue does not work like magic. It needs to be stuck together. It needs a second to work. So glue, it won't stick together just automatically. You can see I put my hands inside. I got a little bit of glue on my table. That happens. But I am just making for sure I have this all glued. So I'm going to hold it to dry for a second and and also clean up this glue and I will be right back. Okay, so I have this. It's still drying on this back side, but I got it to stick together. And I'm going to set it aside to keep drying now that we have our vase. And we're going to work on our leaves. So first I'm going to do the bigger one because I think that if we can do a bigger one, we can definitely do a smaller one. So our first step is folding our paper in half. I like to do it hot dog style, like long ways. So if I'm folding my paper in half, I'm lining it up to the corners, holding it down with one hand and pressing it down with the other. Now I'm going to draw the shape of my leaf. I want to make for sure I'm drawing from the side that is closed. So if I draw from this side that's open and cut out, it'll not stay together. So I want to focus on the side that is closed. And to draw this leaf, actually first you start out with the shape of a heart. To draw a heart, you go up, over. So I go up, over, and then I come back down. And while I'm coming down, I'm also going in. And that's how I get my shape of the heart. So to show you again, I go from the side that's closed, I go up, over, around, almost like I'm drawing half a circle, and then for this bottom part, I go in. And then I like to flick it off at the end. But we also want our leaf to have a stem, so what we want to add to the side right here is a line going down the side, because if we just cut this out, it won't have a stem. So by cutting out around this part and connecting it there, we'll have a stem. So I'm going to cut this out so I can show you guys for our big leaf. And then we drew our little stem right here, so I want to make for sure to cut that out too. And then we have our first leaf, and here's our stem that we made sure to cut out. But Monstera leaves kind of have these gaps in them. They look really pretty. They have that certain texture to them. So what I want to do is fold this in half, and then I'm going to go along the sides, and I'm going to draw some little slits that we can cut out. 1, 2, 3. Maybe I'll give this one a few. So if you saw, I went through and I drew some little squiggly, almost like ovals here on the inside. So I'm going to cut out these from both sides because I want it to look the same on both sides. So there's that. Cutting out my next one. This one I went really far in. It's almost like if you guys have ever cut out snowflakes and you cut out from all the different sides of the snowflakes all at once. That's what we're doing because we're cutting out from both sides. And there we go. So now we can open it. And we have this beautiful tropical looking leaf. This is where you can take, I'm going to get this trash out of the way. You can take markers and add in details if you'd like to. I like to make some vines on the inside of mine. I don't know if they're technically called vines, but I like to make some lines in between each of them. And it also helps with the texture because you can see all the different bits and areas. So now we have our first big leaf done, and I'm going to go ahead and glue it and let it start drying while we work on our little ones. So we want to take the back side of our leaf, and add some glue on. A dot is a lot, so I have a dot of blue. I have my vase, and then I'm going to bring it around and hold it down on the inside. I'm going to pinch it where that glue is so then it can dry and stick. And then you can see that I have a leaf now. I'm going to hold it up here at the bottom. I have a leaf inside my little pot or vase, whatever you want to call it. And it has all this texture to it. It can move. So now we're going to grab our next paper to make our two smaller ones while we have our big one on there and drying. So this is going to be the same thing. We're going to fold it. We're basically going to do the same thing we did on our big one, but on a little one. And then we're going to draw, instead of one big heart, two little hearts. So I go up, over, out, and back in. I'm going to show you guys again. Up, over, out, and back in. I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller. And then what we want to do is make for sure that we're adding our stems in onto them. You can do that by just going to the heart shape on the side and adding a line. And now we cut out these. I'm going to get these cut out and then I will be back. I thought I'd show you guys again. I'm going around for my heart shape, around what I drew, and then I'm making for sure I'm cutting out some paper for a stem. And then you want to draw those kind of long wobbly ovals around the inside so we can have this little cut areas in between our leaves. And now I'm going to cut that out. So I take it from the side. I like to turn my paper while I'm cutting. I feel like that helps the most. And then I am cutting out these areas like that. And then I'll finish my other leaves so I can open them up like this and like this. And then I can take back in that marker and I can add in those details that we were talking about kind of in between my leaves. In between all those different cut areas. Same with over here. And then our last step is going to be gluing them onto here. So we have this. We're going to add a dot of blue. Now that we have our leaves all looking nice, you can decide where you want your leaves to be. Maybe you want them all close to each other. I'm putting this one right next to my big leaf. And I think I'm going to put this small one on the back side. And then I'm pinching it and holding it, making for sure it gets stuck on there real good. And that's it, second grade. This is your little Monstera leaf textured. I'm going to hold it up here at the bottom so you guys can see it with me holding it. And then here is it on video. It's hard because this video camera is facing down and these aren't really shaped that way, but you can see how it looks. All right, that will be it. I will see you guys all next time. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, your evening, your afternoon, and I will see you guys all later. Bye-bye.